It all started with a text response and 4 little letters. LOL-K. On the surface, it sounds pretty harmless, but those 4 small letters set off a spark of suspicion, which later led to questions of prostitution and defensive responses like these. I never had sex for money. I hid it from my children. Then there were secret email accounts, internet ads soliciting sex and bragging about it on text afterwards. Over 30 guys in 6 straight hours. It was crazy. Plus hundreds of investigative texts and emails like these full of questionable behavior and all obtained without the person's knowledge. At the center of this drama, a seemingly ordinary-looking suburban housewife and mother of 6. And heading up the investigation into her questionable behavior, her very own daughters.
My mother, Kimberly, is such a liar that I don't even know who she is anymore.
My mother is a psychotic manipulator.
My mother has been caught having disgusting sex with random men off the internet.
I refuse to be around my mother. I will not allow my child to be around my mother.
I don't call her mom, I call her Kitty.
Well, Kimberly says her daughter's accusations are based on half-truths, misinformation, and mean motives.
My daughters have done so many hurtful things to me. They've accused me of having an affair on my husband. They've accused me of solicitation for prostitution. They've accused me of taking my granddaughter out in public to meet strangers. And all these accusations are completely crazy and based on drama. I truly feel like if anyone is to blame for this family being so torn apart, it is Jackie and Brandy.
Well, Kimberly's daughters say they don't know what to believe ever since they caught their mom sexting during a family vacation.
I found the very first text message on my mom's phone from a guy that was asking her to find a vacant home that they could in, and her reply back was LOL okay.
When I saw that text message, I was immediately disgusted.
The text message was found on December 2nd. We went on our cruise on January 10th.
Paid almost $10,000 for that cruise, 11 people. I'm pissed that Jackie and Brandy knew something was going on before they went on the cruise, and they went on it anyway.
During our family cruise, my sister Hannah discovered several nude photos, both sent to my mom and photos that my mom sent of herself to multiple men.
I was disgusted, I was mad, I was angry. It's not something you want to think that your mother would do.
After the family cruise, we came home and Hannah got on the desktop computer.
Hannah found multiple ads that my mom had posted. Hannah found an email of my mom prostituting herself out for motorcycles.
And it says, this is what I need, $3,000 to purchase a new or used bike, or if you're willing, just to get me a new one around $5,000 or less. Hannah also found several text messages to mass amounts of different men to the point that it was hard for her and I to even keep up with. I was furious.
Knowing what she did made me sick to my stomach, and I was disgusted she would do something like that.
Well, Kimberly's daughter, Brandy, is here. Now, another of her daughters, Jackie, really wanted to be here today, but is too pregnant to travel. So she's joining us via Polycom. So let me welcome Jackie. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Listen, you're part of this conversation, so speak right up at any time, just as though you were here. Okay. Now, Kimberly, let me start with you. You're a mother of 6.
Yes. 4 girls, 2 boys.
Suburban mom.
Yeah.
You still have 3 at home, right?
Yeah, technically.
Okay, well,
Hannah
2 and a half.
Yeah.
One's kind of in and out, and the other 2 are underage, and they're at home.
Right.
Okay, and then you've got these other daughters that kind of happened onto something on your phone.
Right.
Right? And it was on your phone.
Yes.
It wasn't spam. That was you.
Me
You were on the phone.
Yeah.
And what was it that was found on the phone to start with?
A text message from a guy saying, I want you to find a vacant home that we can in. And my mom's response was, LOL, okay.
Okay, that was the LOL-K.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, laugh out loud. Okay.
Because that's what I tell all of them when they ask me for that.
All of them?
Oh, yeah.
And them would be?
Anytime you're, I'm a real estate agent, and you get offers and questions like that all the time, and every time I say, yeah, sure, whatever.
Really? Because I've bought and sold a lot of homes, and I never brought that up to a damn one of my agents. Have you met some of them and done that?
No, never.
No, you don't do that.
No,
That's
never.
I'm sorry?
I said that's a lie.
How do you know that? Have you seen this? Have you looked through the window and went,
I have
whoa?
not. No, I did not look through the window, but all of the text messages, and as a professional, why would you let somebody you're selling a house to write you a text message like that, and even responding to it is disgusting. Like,
okay, so here's the thing. You believe that your mother is on the internet, going on to these sites, meeting up with men, and having sex for money.
Yep, no doubt in my mind.
So you're basically telling me my mom's a hooker.
Yep.
And Jackie, you agree?
Yeah. I don't think that everything has been for money, but I do believe that she has been meeting up with men.
I have to admit, I am the most non-judgmental person I've ever met. I mean, there may be others, but I'm kind of live and let live. Whatever you want to do, whatever floats your boat. I mean,
It's none of their damn business.
Well, I would guess it is your husband's business.
Right,
I would think he would certainly have a stake.
Right. There's two people I have to answer to, him and God.
And he couldn't come, but he couldn't come because he couldn't hear the truth. That's what's the problem.
Yeah, where is he?
He chose not to come.
Why?
He's so embarrassed by their actions, he will not come.
He's embarrassed by their actions.
Their actions. This was a family matter.
It's okay with yours?
This was a family matter that went between me and my husband, and they have taken it to their friends. I mean, here we are, Dr. Phil.
You chose to come, though. You chose to come.
Well, don't say that like something smells bad. She goes, here we are, Dr. Phil.
She said she would do anything to fix the family.
I did. I said I would do anything and go anywhere to fix it. So here I am.
Here she is. So.
Well, so let's see what this is based on, because I want to see what we can agree with. I mean, you don't know what my opinion about this is going to be, but you're not going to have to guess at it when we're through. I can promise you that. These are things that were found on Kimberly's computer. I'm for real. I love to blank blank. And I can't say it or FCC would have my hide, but you're describing a sex act there, right? I like to make a grown man moan, or at least give it my best try, smiley face. I can't tonight. Are you open tomorrow night? I can send a face pic after you send one first. I'm married and not looking to mess that up. Now, did you write those things?
Yes.
You wrote those things?
Yeah, sure did. On my private computer in my private home in my private office. Sure did.
And you are married?
Yes, I'm married. 23 years.
Well, what was your intent?
Excitement and fun.
Okay, but you were wanting to meet up with somebody.
At a time, yeah.
You were busy that night. Did you meet with him the next night?
No, I never got a chance to.
You told your girls, oh, come on, this is all fantasy. This isn't for real.
Actually, it was. I was
We're
part
just
of a
kind of
fantasy
going back.
chat circle.
No, wait a minute. You can't tell it both ways. You said this was all just fantasy, but to them, then when I asked you, you said, yes, I wrote that. And I said, you were wanting to meet him. Well, yeah, but I was busy.
No, there's two separate incidents. Yes, I was part of a fantasy chat circle where it's no hands-on sex, where you chat and talk about it and stuff like that. And then there was times that I wanted to go meet somebody different and get out of my marriage. I have 6 kids. I've been married since I was 16 years old when I had Jacqueline. Heck yeah, I was out looking for something.
But your email says you didn't want to mess up your marriage. So if that's you're contradicting yourself.
I'm not contradicting myself. I didn't want to mess up my marriage. I just wanted to have a good time.
Well, okay, hold that thought. I wanted to go have a good time. Now, there's actually a dirt bike involved in all of this.
Yes.
And you're going to find out how after the break. These daughters admit to raiding Kimberly's email and sneaking into her phone, but they didn't stop there. You're going to see just how far they took their investigation when we come back.
My sister Hannah and I created an internet ad. So I pretended to be my mom and recorded a phone conversation with one man who actually sent us a picture of her face and his private parts.
I want you to tell me what you can do for me.
You want me to change the video? I need to tell you that.
And later...
How embarrassing is it to tell everyone that my mom was prostituting herself out? Like, who would I want to know that?
Well, apparently everybody in the United States and 57 foreign countries, because you're here.
My mom, Kimberly, claims that she has only ever had mental affairs.
It took my mom 3 days to come up with an excuse that this was all fantasized and it was just a fantasy chat room site.
Here's another one who said, "Is that the craziest thing you've ever done sexually?" And mom says, "I would say yes. Over 30 guys for 6 straight hours, and it was crazy." Every time that we've confronted her, she claims nothing was actually reality. I think that she's full of crap.
I do believe that my mother is a pathological liar.
Well, Jackie and Brandon refuse to call their mother anything but Kimberly because they believe she's leading a secret sex life as a prostitute. As a result, they will no longer allow her around their children. Kimberly swears she is not having sex for money, but her daughter's suspicions led them to take their spying to a whole new level.
My dad said he needed a smoking gun in order to prove that my mom was sleeping around with strange men. My sister Hannah and I went in together and created a internet ad saying that Kimberly, the new girl, is back and she's looking to get her original group of people back together. Please respond with what she looks like, how you know her, and when you met up with her. One man actually sent us a picture of her face and a picture of his private parts. He said that she drove a silver van and described that she had big curly blonde hair. So I then pretended to be her and recorded a phone conversation with this man.
I want you to tell me what you can do for me. You know, what you did last time compared to what you're going to do this time.
You want me to text it to you or want me to tell you now?
You can tell me now.
When my mom heard the recording, she denied it all immediately, of course, and said that I must have hired someone to actually put on this act. And then after I told her how stupid she sounded, she claimed it must have been one of our friends or someone we knew. I feel like every time Kimberly opens her mouth, another lie comes out.
Okay, look, here's the deal. You've got to be willing to tell the truth, because if you come in and tell me half a truth or a lie or no truth, then we don't get anywhere.
Right.
You've got to be willing to just come clean. I mean, hell, they can kill you, but they can't eat you, right?
The truth isn't, they don't want the truth. When I've said the truth over and over, it's not that elaborate. So we've got to embellish and make it more and more.
What is the truth?
I get paid for sex and crap like that.
You've said so many stories. That's the problem. There's so many stories, you don't even know what to believe.
You tell them the truth, and they go, "You're lying."
Tell me the truth. I want to know. You don't know. Maybe I can talk him into it. Hell, you give me enough time, I can get a rabbit to hug a hound. If you just give me time, what is it? What is the truth?
I was bored to death. You know, the husband works all the time, never comes home. He goes out in the garage. I don't see him. 23 years of the same boring crap. That's the truth. I looked for some excitement. I go out there. I tried to go and meet people. I couldn't do it. No. Not going to lie to you.
Okay, wait a minute.
That's a whole other thing. Which story do you want? I went on a fantasy chat line.
What story?
Fantasy chat thing. It's no hands-off sex. You just talk about it, you chat, whatever. So I thought that's a good way to do it. Then I don't have to have sex with somebody and screw up the whole thing, right? So that's what I did.
But you didn't stop there, right?
No, I didn't stop there.
You did meet men.
I met 3 men, yeah.
And you did have sex?
No, I never had sex with them. One guy I met, and he was about 400 pounds and not at all what his picture said. Jumped back in my little silver van and took off. The second guy I met in a parking lot, and he was even more disgusting than the first guy I met. And the third guy, swear to God, the third guy didn't even have teeth. So, after I went through all that drama and all that trying to hook up, right? I decided
who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? You're not running for election. Talk to me. Look at me. Talk to me here.
So
Hold
that's
on.
the truth.
The point is, you just said, I went and met 3 men who were disgusting.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why. All you know about them is that they have a computer. And you go meet a guy in a parking lot?
I did. I know. How stupid is that?
Get raped and killed.
It's very stupid. It is incredibly stupid. Sorry, Jackie, what do you want to say?
I just wanted to know, so what about the 26-year-old you had lunch the day before your family cruise?
Yep.
I never had lunch with
Was he disgusting?
I never had lunch with anybody the day before.
We have text messages.
And that you're there.
They
Is
have
that
a text
fantasized? Is that fantasized?
My daughters have a text message that say, be there in an hour, we'll only have an hour,
Are you serious?
and then I'm leaving.
What are you talking about? You
Bring it up.
You
Where's
have
it at?
lied so much. You can't even look me in the face and tell me these lies. You have lied so much. You don't even know what you're saying. There is something wrong with you. You're living a whole nother life.
Really?
There's something wrong with you.
Really?
Yes, there is something wrong with you.
See, I'm not...
They want that to be, because that sounds so much more exciting than Mom not
Do you
doing
think I would
it.
go on national TV and tell everybody what you've done? No.
You already have, sweetheart.
Yeah,
You've
because
called and
I'm
told
hoping,
everybody.
I'm hoping Dr. Phil can get you to realize that you have destroyed this family, not Jackie and I have destroyed this family.
I want the truth, and they're saying they have text messages where you say, okay, I'm going to meet you at this house. All right, I'm getting off the exit.
Yeah.
I only have an hour.
Confirmation numbers.
The only hotel I've been to, sir, in the longest time was in March when I went to a mom's conference.
Well, ma'am, that's not true.
They probably do have my hotel confirmations for March.
They didn't say. You said you got hotel rooms to set up to do web chats.
No, I didn't. I don't.
You didn't do that.
No, I didn't. No, not once. I never told them that, and I've never been to a hotel because I didn't set it up.
When we asked you about the hotel confirmation numbers, you said, "Well, they send me to a hotel, and that's when I set up my camera, and that's when
I have a camera. I don't even own a camera.
And they're in
let alone know how to use a video
they're in a different hotel." And I said, "Well, why would you do that in a hotel?"
All right, stop.
I got fired from the circle because I don't know how to use my webcam.
Somebody is lying to me.
Right.
Did you tell them that these hotel room confirmation numbers are for rooms I got to participate in the sex chat room? I wasn't meeting anybody there. They were just to participate in the sex chat room.
I don't even have a hotel confirmation to know what they're talking about.
So are you lying, or did she tell you that?
She's a liar.
Even if I'm guilty of all of that, if I'm not every Tom, Dick, and Harry, it's none of your business.
Then you won't have a family.
Jackie, what about these hotel confirmations?
Yeah, she did admit to going to a hotel room. She didn't have any sexual acts. She claims that she talked to them about sex. You told that to us.
Okay, Dr. Phil, here's the truth. They, during the circle chat thing, the guy goes to the hotel room. Not me. I was not there. I was at home in my own house, in my computer, in my office, okay?
So you're saying that you were at home logged on to a chat room.
Yeah, watching.
Where guys were in a hotel room.
And girls.
Engaged in sexual activity.
Yes.
Yeah.
You just thought you could hide what you were doing and that you would never get caught.
Okay, I'm going to get an answer to this, because when people lie to me, I stop talking and move on to the next story. Now, somebody is lying here, and I want the truth. You either said that these were hotel confirmations that you did not use for sex, just for fantasy, or you didn't. Now, either you're lying and Jackie's lying, or you're lying.
Where's these confirmations that we supposedly have? Because I don't have any.
I didn't ask you to show them to me.
Our father asked us to delete, or actually, he handed us the emails that we all had printed out, 3 copies. Your husband asked us to destroy them. Your husband asked us to destroy them. He has the only copy left, and he refused to give it to us because he didn't want you to look like an idiot on TV, but you already do. You already do.
Sweetheart.
Like, he doesn't want to believe
what I did was not at all any of this and deserves any of this.
Yes, it does.
And even if I did, even if I'm guilty of all of that, even if I'm guilty of every single thing they want me to be guilty of, what the hell's it got to do with them?
My children. You want to see my child. You want to see her children. That's not going to happen.
Hold on. Is your point that you think that your mother is going to take your child to a sexual assignation with some guy with no teeth in a parking lot?
No. My fear
is that a real fear on your part?
No, my fear is he knows your van. How do I know you're not a drug dealer? How do I know you don't owe people thousands of dollars? What if you have my kid in your car? Do people know what car you drive? How do I know they didn't come to attack you or rape you? I have no idea. Do I think you would take my kid to something like that? No, but how do I know a guy's not going to come after you? How do I know that the safety of my child? And I wouldn't. You're a stranger to me, Mom.
Did you get hotel rooms?
No, never, not once.
What were the confirmation numbers for?
don't know that there are any. I think they're lying. Matter of fact, I know they're lying because there aren't any.
So you don't have any proof?
No, we did, but Dad asked us to destroy it.
Oh, well, let's talk about this dirt bike for a second here.
Yeah, let's talk about
because
that.
there's an interesting email about that. You put an ad, right?
No, it didn't get put on there.
Yes, it did. Are you kidding me? It was on the internet. People responded.
I wrote it in paper. I thought about it.
No, you did not.
On paper, it was on your computer.
It was on an email that people responded to.
They found it on your computer.
Right.
So it's just sitting up on the computer, like we typed it out.
This is my problem. I'm admitting that I did this, so what's wrong with that?
No, you
Well,
just
I'll
said
get
you
to
wrote
that
it.
in a minute. I'm just trying to find out where the bottom is here.
Then
Here's what this said. This ad, and you say you didn't post it. They say you did. It said, quote, I need $3,000 to purchase a new used bike or a new one around $5,000, a new helmet and boots. To avoid this being a prostitute transaction, yes, I know the law, money must exchange hands for sexual favors. I Googled it. I would rather money go to the cause. So any money can be given directly to my choice of shops, and they will hold a credit for me. It's not all about sex unless you need it to be. I will not pay for a room. That's your job. Kimberly.
Right.
Did you post that?
I wrote it, yes.
Did you post it?
No, I didn't post
You
it.
didn't post it.
You
Well,
put it on the internet with a
I didn't post
confirmation
it. My friend posted
Craigslist.
it for me.
let me look at this picture
Because I didn't
here.
know how to post it.
Well, I see this thing where it says, I need $3,000 or $5,000 for a dirt bike. Then shortly after, I'm looking at a picture of a dirt bike.
No, I bought 3. I bought 3 dirt bikes that year, and I sold 5 houses. Call and ask them. Your people already did verify that.
Did your friend post that ad?
Yeah, my friend did it for me. Yeah.
So it did get posted.
Because I didn't know how to do it.
You just
But it
said-
did
you
get
just said-
Yeah,
posted.
it did get posted.
Yeah,
Because
who
a few
posted
minutes
it?
ago you said it never got posted.
You said you posted it. I didn't post it. I wrote it. And
Who
I said
posted it?
I didn't write it. I said I didn't post it. I wrote it.
See, now, okay.
I want to know
I
what
didn't
friend
post
posted
it. I don't know how to.
You're killing yourself now because, lady, that is a distinction without a difference.
I want to know who this friend is.
Sorry.
Because
It's
if
none of your business.
again, if my kid is with her and she's
None of
hanging
your
out with her
business.
friends that are letting her prostitute herself,
Again, it's still none of your business. You are
It is.
24 years old. You
Yes,
live in
it
your
is.
own home.
If
You have your own kids.
if you want me
It's
in
none
your
of your
life, if
business.
you want me
If I'm
in your
not
life,
every Tom, Dick, and Harry,
then
it's
you
none of your
won't have a
business.
family. Then you won't have a family.
It's none of your business.
Okay, well, if you want to live without your children, that's on
your
you.
choice.
Coming up, Kimberly says she doesn't think her daughters have been working alone. She thinks someone else is out to get her. We're going to find out who that is when we come back.
Kim has cheated on her husband. The most shocking part was that she didn't care, and she did it in front of her daughter's best friend. When I saw Kimberly in the back of that van, I thought there's no way this is happening.
My mom's always been very flirtatious our whole lives.
I smile all the time, so.
My mom is pretty busty and curvy. Her boobs are always hanging out in all of her outfits. I don't think she owns one thing that her boobs don't hang out in.
I've always seen my mom as flirtatious with other men, but I never thought she would take it to the level she's taken it to.
Well, Kimberly's daughters say their mom is constantly flirting, but they are also convinced it's way more than that. Even the family hairdresser, why am I not shocked, is weighing in. Take a look.
Emily is probably the biggest drama queen and pot stirrer of all of our town. She tops the list.
I know for a fact Kim has cheated on her husband. The most shocking part was that she didn't care, and she did it in front of her daughter's best friend.
Almost 2 years ago, I went to a concert with Emily. Came home, everything was fine. A year later, Emily has all these accusations that I was doing something at this concert with men.
Kim and I left the concert alone in her van. We did get drunk and we had a good time. Kimberly invited 2 guys into the van.
Girlfriend, those guys were all over me. I may be fat, but they were all over me.
When I saw Kimberly in the back of that van, I just thought there's no way this is happening. I saw Kimberly commit adultery.
It's totally impossible for any of her accusations to be true. I had too many people around me, my daughter, my nephew. Emily does claim I was too drunk to remember, but I'm the one that drove us there and drove us home. Emily makes up these lies because she's bored, needs a hobby.
Look, I'm here with Kimberly. She is the mom. 6 children, actually. A few of them are here. Jackie on Polycom. I have Brandy here. We've just added Emily. Emily is a family friend. She's a family hairdresser. And you say that this isn't just fantasy because you've actually seen her out engaged in sexual activity.
She's supposed to be my best friend, my daughter's best friend. So I'm supposedly have done this in front of you, my daughter's best friend, right?
Right.
Crazy and correct.
Big concerts. Everybody's stacked, getting out of the parking lot.
Can we clarify that she's drunk, right?
Yes.
Supposed to be, but she remembers all this,
But
right?
you're not.
Right, I'm not drunk, right?
You're not drunk?
You
So
admitted that you drove home drunk to me.
I was not drunk, so drunk that we got home. I
So
was
you
the
were
one
kind of
driving.
drunk.
I was the one driving.
So you were kind of
I
drunk.
had 2 of those Limerita things. Not drunk
Moving
enough
on.
to do what she says she saw me do. Keep going, Emily. Tell everybody
Okay,
what
so
you
you
saw
pick
me
these
do.
2 guys up and actually pull out of traffic into a field. So you look over your shoulder. She's in the back seat with a guy, and what's happening?
Yeah, what's happening?
Sexual act, and I got out of the van.
My daughter's there, my nephew's there, but I'm doing what in my van?
Okay, one of the things that I always worry about is when people spend a lot of time focusing on irrelevant details to deflect from the matter at hand. And you keep telling me that there were family members there.
Yeah,
Were
it's
they
not like
in
they weren't right
Were
there.
they in the van with you?
No, they could have walked up. They were right, like my van was here and they were right over here. They could have walked up at any moment.
They were not even close to our van.
Emily, you are just so full of shit. It ain't
No,
funny.
no, no, no,
All
no, no, no.
National TV now knows that you're such a big liar.
Jackie, you guys get back from this cruise and call Emily and say, here's what we found out about my mother. Do you know anything?
Often people confess things to their hairdresser. So, do you know of anything that's been going on with my mom lately, or anything that's happened? Because she's been having affairs. But
Yeah.
Emily wouldn't tell me exactly what she saw.
Okay,
She
and then
said
y'all
she didn't
don't want
me-
her to be around your kids, and you say she's so psycho that she went and borrowed some kids from one of your other friends so she could demonstrate that she was capable of taking care of children, right?
I did.
You sure did.
And so you told that person what was going on. They shouldn't have
She
their...
knew.
Is there anybody y'all didn't tell?
How embarrassing is it to tell everyone that my mom was prostituting herself out? Like, who would I want to know that? My close friends
Well,
know, because that's
apparently
why-
everybody in the United States and 57 foreign countries, because you're here.
Well, now they do.
Yeah, now.
Wow, okay. Are Jackie and Brandy creating drama because they have nothing better to do? Well, there's another sister here who says, yeah, actually, they are. We'll hear why next.
I know. And she walked out.
She helped.
Jackie and Brandy are 2 bored housewives.
Now she's the cornfield.
She's so dumb.
My sisters definitely keep up a soap opera about the family. My family's always the first conversation that they have. Everything is always about my mom. I believe if Jackie and Brandy did drop all the drama, it could help in healing the family. I want my mom to realize that her cheating and hurting my dad did end up basically cheating and hurting us as the kids. Even though it's her business, it's definitely a family problem. Mainly it hurt me so much because my dad means so much to me.
Well, Kimberly says what goes on in her marriage is her own business. But her daughters say that their mom's risky behavior is family business. There's another sister here, Hannah. Hannah, thank you for coming out and joining us. Is this being overblown?
Well, I think it is being overblown. I think it's time to just let it go.
Making too big a flap about it?
Yes.
Do you think that you have crossed any boundaries, any lines, gotten out of your lane and gotten up in somebody else's business that's not yours?
No, I do not.
Okay, gotcha. Jackie, how about you?
Nope.
There was a particular quote that kind of stuck out at me. I don't need to associate with someone that takes my mom's word over my own. Is
I
that
just
y'all's
don't
opinion?
think that I shouldn't associate with anyone that takes
I mean,
my word.
if somebody disagrees with y'all about what she's doing or her right to do it, do you think that's they're just wrong.
No, that's their decision.
Yeah, that's their decision.
But it doesn't mean I need a relationship with them.
But the problem is there's obviously two sides of the story, and they're only getting one side of the story. And they come and attack us with one side of the story, and we can't say our side of the story. They've already heard it.
There's
from
one story, and that story would be my story.
What do you mean you can't say your side of the story? I can't find anybody you haven't told your side of the story to.
All of her friends that harass me on Facebook and text messages, I don't talk to them. I get saying karma is coming back to my son because I don't let you see my son, and the reason why my son is having problems and is in pain is because of karma coming back to me. I don't associate with those people.
I didn't ask these people to write.
I don't care. Those are your best friends. Those are your best friends.
Control what people write.
You can only control what you say to them, and they have so much hate for me. They said that
to anybody.
Your husband knows the whole story. You said that too.
He does.
Okay. Well, you just said nobody knew, so that was another one of your lies.
They were concerned because when it came time, like you took everybody on a cruise in January.
Yeah, and they all knew this was going on.
No, we found out on the cruise.
No, we didn't know anything was going on.
The cruise from hell.
You just said
no, you knew about it before you told us you knew about it before the cruise.
No, I found one text message. No, the Craigslist ads, that all came after the cruise from Hannah.
Okay, but you just told the whole world that you knew this before you went.
No.
Let me talk.
Go, Jackie.
It's my turn. So on December 2nd, Brandy did find that text message. I said, Brandy, Mom flirts all the time, whatever. It's not a big deal. I didn't even look into it. I didn't think anything of it. The only reason Hannah suspected stuff is because Mom went to Sprint and had her phone get a password put on it. So on the cruise, Hannah was suspicious. Me and Brandy had no idea.
Next, I'm going to tell Jackie and Brandy if I think Mom's business is any of their business. Hey, Dr. Phil here. Did you know that more than 16 million kids in the U.S. are at risk of hunger each day? That's more than 1 in 5 children. Now, these are our neighbors, our kids that play in the neighborhood, co-workers, friends' children. The problem is closer than you would think, but so is the solution. Join me and visit feedingamerica.org/hunger to find your local food bank to help. I'm Dr. Phil, and together, we are Feeding America. I'm going to declare executive privilege here, and I'm going to do a little talking. And our viewers are weighing in on this. I know you guys all have opinions as well. Tina M. Cummings at home says, these hens do too much pecking and not enough listening. They need to own their part in this mess. Love Being a Grana says, these daughters have way too much information about their mother's private life. Hashtag nosy daughters. At Fashion Swain says, Mom, you're putting yourself in danger by meeting strangers. Don't let your kids get a phone call. Hashtag nosy daughters. Look, I think you're lying about half of this.
It's your opinion.
Yeah, it is. I think you're lying about half of it. I don't think you need to lie about any of it. Lying, maybe that's too strong. I think you're spinning a lot of this. I'll put it that way. You don't have to answer to your daughters.
No, I don't.
I tell you, I got 2 sons. If they come over and start taking my inventory and tell me what I can do and can't do, it's going to be a short conversation. Not going to happen because that's just not how it works. And you can do what you want to do. And you don't owe them explanations.
That's the way I feel.
And if my parents ever referenced anything about their sex life, I threw up and then put my fingers in my ears. I didn't want to hear it. And I'm sure they don't want to know about all of this. How this is okay with your husband, even remotely, I don't know.
We both had issues in our marriage, and we both got to a point, but that's really none of their business.
Well, that's exactly my point.
So we're both guilty of certain things.
That's exactly my point. The problem with kids opining on their parents' relationship is there's so much you don't know about what's going on in that relationship. There's so much you don't know, which works out okay because it isn't your business. It is not your business what your mother does. It is not your business. And if you want to hold your children hostage because you confabulate some theory that she's going to put them in harm's way with her behavior, then I think you're being histrionic and overdramatic. She certainly got you raised. She certainly got you raised. She certainly got you raised. So you don't know what she was doing and when she was doing it. What I'm saying is you can set up this overdramatic sort of thing and hold your children hostage because it gives you power if you want to, but that's not going to serve your children well to carve their grandmother out of their lives. They pick up the tab for that.
Okay, well, can I have my opinion on this?
No.
Okay, well.
It's my turn. You've been talking the entire time. Just adult to adult. I am really concerned about your judgment and putting yourself in harm's way. If you meet people over the internet and then you go meet them in the real world, particularly somewhere private, like a parking lot in a car, that's just dumb.
Well, this was all in October of last year. I got brains since then.
Okay, look, listen.
I found a friend that I could actually confide in and spoke to. And so
but Kimberly,
in October
listen,
of last year, I've gotten brains since then.
I do a lot of shows regarding the internet, and there are some weird cats on the internet, and you don't want to be putting yourself in harm's way.
Right.
And if you're going out and meeting men...
I had nobody or nowhere to go, and now I do. And that has been a huge blessing.
What I'm telling you...
because it's been good.
Well, I'm glad you consider it a blessing. What I'm telling you is this. You don't owe them an explanation, but you do owe yourself consideration. Right. Do not degrade yourself by meeting men in parking lots. Do not degrade yourself by putting yourself out there. Do not disrespect your marriage and your family by turning away from your partner if you've got problems. Deal with that with him. And if that doesn't work out, then maybe it's time to shut that marriage down. That's another question for another day. But you won't find solutions by putting yourself in harm's way, degrading yourself, and who knows? Their legitimate concern is that you cross a line and allow people to know where you are and where you live, and some crazy wacko comes over there while you're watching the children, and they are in harm's way.
Right.
And that's where they do have a legitimate concern. You need to make sure they understand you get that, and that you are not crossing those boundaries. You can get killed by dealing with these people on the internet, and you need to stop doing that.
Right, that's why I did.
Straight out.
That's why I did.
Not because they judge you, but because you're putting yourself in harm's way. And do you agree with what I'm telling her?
I totally agree.
So I'm actually supporting a substantial part of your position, that if she blurs the boundaries, then family members, you, others, could be in harm's way. Don't do that, and don't.
October of last year, so since then,
do not degrade yourself by meeting strange people in a parking lot. I promise you that won't give you what you're looking for. If you're bored, get a hobby.
I figured it out.
But your hobby is not meeting weirdos in a parking lot, because some guy that will come meet a woman in a parking lot is not the quality man.
If anybody's watching that wants to do that, don't do it.
Yeah,
it's not worth it. Don't do it.
Okay, save yourself before the world.
Yeah.
Okay?
I did.
Right.
I gave it up.
We're out of time. I want to thank all of my guests today. If you're experiencing drama in your family or marriage, you can go to drphil.com for advice and hopefully some helpful resources. You have to respect people's right to be who they are, but that doesn't mean you can't tell them what you think. And I think everybody here knows what everybody else thinks. I want you to listen to this video. Sobbing followed by horrific screams.
Dewey's upset.
Those are the cries of 46-year-old Kelly Stapleton as her then 13-year-old daughter Izzy beat her mom bloody during a violent rage. Now, Izzy suffers from what has been diagnosed as a severe case of autism that leaves her unable to control her severe outburst. It has landed her mother in the hospital twice. Now, pushed to the brink, Kelly did the unthinkable. One day last September, she drove Izzy to a deserted area, made her s'mores, and then shut the van doors for what she hoped would be the final time. That day, she attempted to take both her and Izzy's lives. Now, luckily, Kelly and Izzy both survived, but now Kelly sits behind bars facing life in prison for a felony charge of first-degree child abuse. Is this once devoted mother a monster, as some believe, or a mother pushed to the brink by despair? Yesterday, you saw the first part of my exclusive interview with Kelly Stapleton, where she shared her story for the very first time. Today, you'll hear the compelling conclusion to our conversation, and we'll find out how the rest of Kelly's family is coping with this tragic situation. But first, here's what happened yesterday.
A Benzie County woman is facing attempted murder charges for trying to kill herself and her 14-year-old daughter.
Kelly Stapleton and her daughter Isabel Stapleton were found inside of a van on Tuesday night and unconscious from carbon monoxide poisoning.
State police say the 45-year-old Alberta woman tried to kill the 14-year-old girl by placing 2 burning portable charcoal grills inside a vehicle with the doors and windows closed.
All of this unfolding just days after Izzy returned from an autism treatment center. Izzy was put in a medically induced coma. Police say it is possible that Izzy could have permanent brain damage.
Kelly Stapleton of Benzie County pleaded guilty to first-degree child abuse.
Today's guilty plea means all other charges, including attempted murder, will be dropped. Now a judge must decide her fate. Kelly Stapleton could spend life in prison or get off with time served.
Kelly, we're in the county jail right now.
Yes, sir.
Did you attempt to kill your daughter?
I would say no. We were going to go to heaven together. Isabel, in her aggression, oftentimes targets her sister. I could not keep Ainsley safe anymore.
How did you decide that you were going to do it with carbon monoxide?
I wanted Izzy and I to be able to go to sleep, for Jesus to just come in.
You get her in your car and you drive out to a very remote place. Did she have any idea what was happening?
I said, we're gonna go camping and we're gonna make s'mores and we're gonna cuddle. She was happy. There's a bed in the back of this van. We laid down together. We closed the doors of the van with the grills inside, and we went to sleep, nose to nose.
What were the last words you remember Izzy saying to you?
I love you, Mommy.
Tell me about this.
I haven't seen that before.
Have you missed her this year?
I have.
You attempted to end both of your lives, and you failed.
Epically failed.
And you're glad you failed. You're glad you're alive. You're glad she's alive.
Yes.
Why?
Because she has a journey, and it wasn't my right to take her from it.
Well, an hour wasn't enough to cover all of the important things that Kelly talked about during our exclusive interview. I still had 2 burning questions that I had to ask Kelly before our very candid conversation was over. Take a look. Do you want to see her?
I do.
Have you missed her this year?
I have.
If by some miraculous twist of fate, you could walk out of here today and go home and take up managing her again, are you equal to that?
I would not. I would not.
Why not?
I just could not do it. I I can't watch her suffer. I can't watch the aggression. I can't be afraid for life every moment. I cannot do it.
If you were to look Izzy in the eye right now, what would you say to her?
That it was always about love. It was always about love. I hurt her. I hurt her. There's not enough medication. There's not enough therapy on this planet to make that okay.
You said you believe in heaven, you believe in Jesus. Do you believe in forgiveness?
I do.
Do you want Izzy's forgiveness?
I would beg her forgiveness. Not only did I not take her to heaven, I hurt her. I'm her mother, and I hurt her. I'm not even worthy to beg for her forgiveness.
Today we'll see the footage of Izzy when she first got out of the hospital. Plus, how are things going at the Stapleton house now that Kelly is gone and no longer there to take the brunt of Izzy's violence? We'll also talk to another mother who knows Kelly's pain. But before we do that, I want to talk to two of Kelly's best friends, Marlo and Vicky. Take a look as they tell the difficulties they saw Kelly go through.
Izzy's autism manifests itself in the sense of aggressive behaviors. She has a difficult time communicating her wants and her needs.
Izzy gets agitated easily, and she's very impatient. It's uncomfortable to be around her.
One day I called Kelly and she was in the hospital. She said that she was waiting for a scan of her face to make sure that her cheek wasn't broken because Izzy had attacked her. That's when I started to really realize that something was seriously going on with Kelly and Izzy.
Kelly couldn't be alone with Izzy.
One time, she was pushed down the stairs when she wouldn't give in to a demand that Izzy had. She was knocked unconscious. Kelly had to call the police. Izzy's aggression was so severe that Kelly suffered 3 traumatic brain injuries. Kelly was terrorized. Izzy was constantly hitting Kelly in the head, and Kelly was beginning to suffer things such as memory loss. She couldn't find her words sometimes.
Everybody was concerned.
I'm not sure who else could have gone as long as she did with the behaviors that Izzy had. I'm not sure how anybody could live like that, honestly.
Well, I'm glad you two are here to try and help people get their minds around this. Let me be clear. Neither of you two endorse the choice that she made.
No.
I don't endorse this either, but I do understand that she was lost. I don't know what else to do. I can't get help. I can't get support. I can't protect my daughter Ainsley. I feel I have a duty to her, and she keeps getting beaten and pummeled. I got the feeling that this was one of the most desperate human beings I had ever talked to. Do you believe Kelly thought Izzy was eventually going to kill her?
Yes. Yes. And she has said that many times.
She wrote a blog, and the title of the blog was Status Woe. The last day, the day that this happened, she posted this. If you work with families, please try to minimize the soul-shattering disappointments you hand out. And she's talking about healthcare workers, insurance companies, school reps, these people. There are ways to say no without being inhumane. Please don't make your problems mine. I'm sorry you have 22 kids on your caseload, but that doesn't mean Izzy should be denied consideration because you're busy. Please don't tell me there are 50 other people on a waiting list to use general fund dollars. Please don't tell me when I found the perfect staff that Medicaid will only reimburse a portion of it. At least let me believe you're trying to figure it out. It's my job to try to do the best for my daughter. It's your job to be professional and help me do mine, and only one of us is getting paid. There's so much more to say. I'm just too tired to write it. This was posted the day she went to the woods. and she had just learned that Izzy had been uninvited to school. During my interview with Kelly, she revealed that she has not seen or spoken to Izzy since that day that they were in the van. And her good friends Marlo and Vicky have seen Izzy and stay in contact with Kelly's soon-to-be ex-husband, Matt. Here's what they have to say about what's happening with Izzy and the family now.
Now that Kelly is out of the house, Ainsley is becoming more of a target for Izzy's aggression. Matt told me about an incident of Izzy attacking Ainsley. It was unprovoked, and she had grabbed Ainsley by her hair. They have an escape plan for Ainsley in regards to Izzy's aggression. If Izzy starts to become aggressive with Ainsley, her escape plan is to lock herself in her room or to lock herself in the car. Their CPS worker testified during a pretrial hearing that she had arrived at the house and found Ainsley hysterically crying, locked inside the car because she was trying to escape Izzy's aggression. Ainsley shouldn't have to live in a house where she's fearful every day.
That was part of her fear and reality. She would take these beatings and watch her other daughter take her beatings. What was her reaction? How did she feel about that?
Sometimes she would kind of normalize that to a degree and just say, you know, Izzy beat me up again, or we had this, you know, conflict, but it's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. We're going to move on. But then there were other times when we would talk a little bit longer, and then she would really confide in me about how she felt about it. I mean, she would cry, and those were the times that she felt hopeless. And that's when you started to really be afraid for her.
But where we were at this point is understand that, you know, Izzy's aggression as she got older became worse, and Izzy became larger, and this became more of an issue, and Kelly was getting more, you know, it was attacked. Kelly finally found a facility called the Great Lakes Center to get Izzy help. So she's at the center getting help. You would think that Kelly would finally get to relax. She could not, because every single week it was up for debate whether Izzy was going to be sent home abruptly or she was going to get to stay. The whole idea was to integrate her slowly back into the house, and that didn't happen.
And what we're seeing in the background here is just that this was constant.
Yes.
Right?
And so the insurance company said, basically, we're not going to further this. It's not being successful. We're going to stop paying. The center said, we can't keep her here if we don't have funding for her. And instead of integrating her slowly back home, they sent her home. That is the weekend before all of this. And they knew a few days before, so they contacted the school to try and, you know, be able to get her in with the teacher there and work on the behavior plan. All of that fell through. So now we have Izzy's coming home. She's not welcome back at school. We know that she's not any stronger than before when she went in. That's where we're at.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to meet a woman whose severely autistic son throws chairs at her, knocks over furniture, tears the stainless steel doors off the refrigerator, punches her, pulls her hair, fractured her ankle, chokes her while she's driving, and bites her so badly she wears long sleeves to hide the bruising.
When he rages out, it's horrible, and that's when I'm scared. I know my son could kill me.
You know, being here in jail, you are away from all of that turmoil. Has there been any guilty pleasure of relief at not having to deal with it?
The jail of Benzie County has been a much kinder warden than the jail of autism has been.
Now, Dr. Carol Lieberman spent 20 hours over a period of 3 days doing a clinical interview with Kelly, and she's here today. Dr. Lieberman, I think everybody does want to understand what her mental state and condition was at the time. What can you say about that?
Well, you know, what's important to realize is that Izzy was diagnosed when she was 2 years old. When Izzy got to be 8 years old, she became violent. She had these tantrums, these aggressive tantrums. And the bigger Izzy got, the more violent these tantrums were. And she gave her black eyes, she gave her a fractured cheek, nose, she was hitting her in the head all the time, kicking her in the abdomen all the time. And the final two things were when she hit her head so hard that she lost consciousness. The key is, I diagnosed Kelly with a number of disorders, including post-traumatic stress disorder. It was a war zone in her home. When that day, on September 3rd, 2013, she was in a dissociated state. To her, it wasn't murder or killing. She was, in her mind, taking her to heaven. She was accompanying her to heaven. And that was totally dissociated from murder, killing, anything else. She was doing this as a sacrifice.
Even though not intentional, do you believe Izzy would eventually have killed her?
Yes, yes, I do. Because the violence was escalating. The last two severe things were loss of consciousness. I mean, she could have died then.
You know, one of the things I asked Kelly is, did she have information as when she would be knocked out, whether Izzy would continue to beat her after she was unconscious? And she said there was no question about it, that she would knock her unconscious and then continue to beat her.
Absolutely. And one of the things that they were thinking of when the school rejected Izzy was for Kelly was even willing to go back to where the original treatment center was to continue Izzy in the school that she was going to there. And she was going to live with Izzy alone in an apartment there. And she was terrified because she figured Izzy would kill her. And also, Izzy would do something like inadvertently start a fire on the stove trying to cook, and she'd kill herself too.
And, you know, that's the reality that we're talking about here. Now, my next guest lost her husband in a freak car accident, and then 4 months later, another bombshell was dropped. Take a look.
Preston was my first child. I fell in love, but I felt something was not right. I took him to a pediatric neurologist to get tested. It came back that he definitely had autism. As far as I can remember, Preston was aggressive. Even as a baby, he would scratch my face or pinch me. The older he got, the aggression got worse. There was a time that Preston hit me. He punched me so hard that it knocked the wind out of me, and it left a huge bruise. He would just open palm slap me across the face. Don't hit me! He pushed me down the flight of stairs once. I would get bloody lips, broken bones. I've had a black eye. He's fractured my ankle. He's damaged everything. The furniture, the walls. When he rages out, it's horrible. I think he could beat me to a bloody pulp. No. I know my son could kill me. I love my son, Preston, more than anything in this world. But I'm afraid of my son, and I can no longer care for him.
Lisa, I'm glad to meet you. I'm sorry for the circumstance that we're talking about here. Your son is extremely violent.
Yes.
Do you believe that he can kill you?
I know he can. He's been violent for a long time. He's strong. His hits turn into huge welts and bruises and fractures and shove me down the stairs. It's scary. The chokes, his little hands, his hands got bigger. Everything's harder. The aggression has always been there, but now it's worse.
I know this is not a happy thought or an easy thought to talk about, but the truth is you have seriously contemplated killing yourself and your son.
Yes, I have. It's so hard to translate to everyone, even my closest friends and family, how extreme the behaviors take its toll on you, because this isn't just a little hair pull. This isn't a little punch. These are hard pulls, grabbing fists of hair, punches, shoves, breaking things in your house. You're afraid that a spoon or a bowl could be a weapon. It is a weapon, but could that weapon be used on me? We use plastic, so It's hard. And day after day after day, minute after minute after minute of not knowing when those behaviors are going to come, and you are the target, emotionally, psychologically, it's tough. This is your child. Your child. This is my only child.
Let's take a break for a minute. I mean, hopelessness has set in for Lisa, much like we've talked about with regard to Kelly. What has she contemplated in her mind? How would she do it? Has she gone to that point? We're going to talk about that escape plan and the horror she and her son have been living in when we come back. Lisa was living a life of constant abuse with her severely autistic son, Preston. Much like we've talked about with Kelly and Izzy, Preston beat her, choked her, broke her bones, and posed a constant danger for others. Now, Lisa spent everything she had, over $250,000, trying to help him, but frankly, life just never got better. So she devised an escape plan that she thought would be an option to end all the pain.
Preston loves trains. Preston likes to go for car rides so many times at night. I just had this vision that I would take him for a car ride at night and just end it. Just end the pain and suffering. I would wait for the train, and when I saw it, I was going to drive head on into the train, and I was going to kill myself and my son. So I did go to the train tracks, and I sat there with tears going down my face, and my son was happy, flapping his hands, and the train was gone, and I didn't do it. We went home. Preston finally was accepted to go into a treatment facility, so he's still currently there. I feel like I sent him away. I feel like a bad mom for that. No one can understand the guilt that I have, but if Preston were still home, we would both be dead. I couldn't do one more day, one more hour, or one more minute. I wouldn't just go into... I was in my head at those train tracks. I couldn't do it anymore. I could not do it anymore. We wouldn't be here. Sometimes I still feel like I wish we were just dead, because it's just hard.
What's your reaction to watching yourself say those things?
Who says that? What kind of parent says that about their child?
Would you have ever thought or fathomed that you as a mother could actually contemplate killing your child?
No, never. I'm a normal person. I had hopes and dreams for my son when he was born. I can't wait to hear "I love you, Mommy," and it never happened. And the mom that I thought I was going to be never happened, and the son that I thought was going to be was never there. Did I think that I would ever say those words or even contemplate it? Of course not. Who would think that?
So I assume you weren't shocked when you heard what had happened with Kelly.
I was shocked, but it only took 10 minutes for me to, I suppose, come out of shock and say, eventually, if she hadn't, maybe Izzy was going to kill her. And I understood right away. I knew. And I felt really lost and frustrated and angry, never at Kelly, but at the system.
You know, Kelly made a comment, the jail of Benzie County is better than the jail of autism.
I believe it. I know it. I mean, I've never been to jail, but of course we're in contact, and we talk about that often, how jail is better than the day-to-day struggle of autism. Sleep, food, water.
No beatings.
No beatings. Yeah. No extreme violence by your child.
What I want people to do is try to understand the mindset. It is not a rational decision. It is not something that I want you to contemplate. It's not something I want you to do, because there is always that next option, that next alternative, that hope being around the corner. Ending the life of your child, even if you sacrifice yourself in the same act, is just simply not an option. That's just not something that you have the right to do. But that doesn't mean you have to stay in the situation you're in. When we come back, we're going to look at exclusive footage of Izzy after she was released from the hospital, plus how Kelly's husband, Matt, is coping now that he is the only parent in the home with Izzy and the other children.
One day, not long ago, Izzy beat her mom unconscious in their car.
And we were on the highway, and she started to overpower me, so pulling my hair, pulling the steering wheel. I knew this was going to be bad.
But it was after an even more violent attack that Kelly recorded in a desperate attempt to get help from her local community mental health that she finally reached her breaking point.
I was screaming to my local CMH, without exaggeration, that I needed help.
Andy Dominiani, anchor, reporter for WWMT, CBS affiliate for West Michigan, has followed this story since day one. Now, Andy was able to interview Izzy along with her father, Matt, the day she got out of the hospital. Take a look.
In a coma for several days, by Friday, the prognosis was grim. If Izzy lived, she would have severe brain damage. But then, by some miracle, everything changed. Izzy began breathing on her own. Then she simply opened her eyes and started talking.
She said, tube out. And then Matt came immediately to her bedside and she said, you know, Daddy, tube out. So it was like she was gone and then she was just back.
We prayed every day and thank God that she came out, pulled through her coma, and now she's doing fantastic.
Alicia, Brian, Davis.
Within 2 weeks, Izzy was home again. The brain damage caused by carbon monoxide affecting her balance and motor skills, but improving every day. And it's a wonder she's come so far, so fast. When we first met Izzy, she was prone to violent outbursts. Now her aggression has decreased dramatically due to a token reward system where she earns her favorite things.
It's incredible. She is doing amazing. Every day, it's more and more of herself.
What would you like to buy? A pair of tickets.
You go back 10 months and it's a whole different kid. She's really doing a nice job following our program. We still have a tight schedule, and we're trying to keep incorporated all the things that she was doing while she was at the center.
Well, Andy, thanks for joining us. You knew Kelly and Matt from college, right?
I knew both Kelly and Matt 20-some years ago in college. I heard from her for the first time about a year and a half ago. I knew that they had an autistic child, but I had no idea.
And she contacted you asking you to do a story to try to bring awareness to this situation.
She'd been yelling, she said, at the top of her lungs for years. Nobody could hear her. She knew I was in the media. She was out of options. I'm sure she didn't want to call me, but she did. I'm glad she did.
When this happened, what was your reaction to it?
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I didn't believe it. I thought that there must be a mistake. I was in complete shock.
You visited her in jail. What was her focus at that point? What did she talk about?
Izzy. She was talking about Izzy.
You've talked to Matt. What did he say?
He was very concerned about Kelly, about her mental health. He was so grateful that he got to keep his daughter. He just kept saying, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. Can you imagine that? I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I didn't lose my daughter.
How do you think he feels towards Kelly at this point?
He's conflicted. He loves her. He's furious with her. He's heartbroken. He's hopeful. He feels a million things. And he's in a no-win situation when it comes to Kelly.
So what does the future hold? Well, we're going to talk about what the future holds for Izzy, and also we're going to share with you what Matt had to say to us. Kelly Stapleton is facing life in prison for a felony charge of first-degree child abuse of her severely autistic child, Izzy. I want to introduce to you now the head of our advisory board, Dr. Frank Lawless. He is also a leading expert on autism. He has written a book called The Autism Answer, and it's available as an e-book online. Dr. Lawless, you and I have had much ongoing dialogue about Izzy and about this situation before I went to do the interview with Kelly. And for people that don't know, I don't want you to glaze us over, but I do want you to give us some sense of what is going on. What makes this child Izzy, what makes this child, Preston, do what they're doing here?
Primarily, it's a brain dysfunction. And what is happening is that especially the back part of the brain is not functioning like the front part of the brain. So what is happening is that there's a limited amount of processing that can go on with an autistic kid. When there's a change in environment, there's a change in any kind of situation, they get afraid. They are in panic.
Now, autism is referred to as a spectrum disorder.
Yes.
And not all autistic children are violent. Many are not, then some are. And what this violence may look random, but in fact, it is being triggered, correct?
It is absolutely being triggered, and that is the biggest problem in autism, is the emotional control, the emotional management that goes on.
All right, and what sort of things, because you say they become very fearful, what sort of things can trigger a Preston or an Izzy to become violent and start thrashing?
Well, it can be a lot of things. For example, it can be a food allergy that can come on. It can be basically a change in the environment. It can be a confrontation that might even be very mild, but will basically trigger this frantic explosion of resolve.
And once this aggressive explosion stops, they do not have the ability to pump the brakes. They don't have the ability to soothe themselves and quiet themselves down.
That's right, and that's the actually lack of research in this particular area has to do with this issue of finding the brakes in terms of dealing with their emotional outlet.
Dr. Lawless never even asked us to so much as mention his books, but because this is such a specialized area, the Autism Answer focuses on what parents can and need to know and do in managing an autistic child, wherever on the spectrum they are, whether they're violent or whether they're higher functioning, whatever it might be.
Absolutely, and the idea is that this is my quest, is to basically try to educate the parents what they can do at the home.
Right. My plan for the family when we come back. Kelly recently pled guilty to a felony charge of first-degree child abuse, a plea that carries the possibility of life in prison. In Kelly's case, though, I don't think that serving time behind bars is necessarily the best solution. If allowed, we would like to provide the court with some sort of alternative for Kelly, starting with an evaluation and a clear mental health plan. I also talked to Kelly about what we want to do for Izzy, her daughter. Kelly, we're going to start working real hard to try to get to the bottom of what's going on with Izzy. We want to take her to the PNP Center in Dallas and do a multimodal diagnostic workup and evaluation of her to try to find out everything that's going on with her. And then once we have those answers, then we're going to get those experts to work with all the resources available to come up with a strategy to to try to get this young girl some peace in her life. We want her in the home, in the school, in her community, with friends and a life. And so the whole goal is reunification. We're going to get busy on this, and we're going to keep you in the loop every step of the way. Okay? Kelly, I wish you the absolute best.
Thank you.
Since Kelly's husband, Matt, is now the custodial parent, we offered him a detailed treatment plan for Izzy. We also offered help for Kelly and Matt's other children, McEwen and Ainsley, as they have been through so much in their young lives. We invited Matt to be here today. For a number of reasons, he's not, but he did give us a statement and ask us to please read it, and here it is. My apologies, but going out for the filming is not a possibility. I also really think this needs to be Kelly's story. This is her story and about what happened to her. We are grateful for Dr. Phil's generosity in providing help for Izzy. I will certainly work with Dr. Lawless to coordinate these possibilities. As far as the other kids, I appreciate the fact that Dr. Phil would like to help them. This has been a life-changing experience for all three of them and an incredibly delicate situation for the entire family. We want to express our gratitude as Dr. Phil and his medical staff undertake this amazing gesture that will help my family and create awareness for thousands of parents out there. Thank you for your efforts and for going above and beyond. And that's from Matt. So, Matt, I totally understand. I thank you. And Dr. Lawless, you already have been in touch with Matt. You've had contact, correct?
Yes, we had a conversation, and we're planning on a visit to the P&P Center this week.
Coming up, what you can do if you were touched by Izzy's story and want to help. One thing we want to make clear is that Izzy is a child suffering from a severe case of autism. She is not a monster. She is a beautiful child who needs help. As you know, we sometimes give viewers the opportunity to join us in supporting extraordinary causes. I feel like this is one of those cases. So if you would like to join the Dr. Phil Foundation and support the continuing care that Izzy will need to help secure a healthy and productive future, please log on to drphil.com and you can learn how to help. All contributions for Izzy's fund will be collected.
Yes.